Welcome back to episode 6 of Property Pairings. I'm Eric Kinzler.
Mike.
Pavone.
Yeah. I do have a last name.
You do? Yeah. Everyone, you could just
It just rolls off the tongue very nicely.
You could just be
Pavone Kinzler.
Well,
yeah, I agree. I agree. Thank you.
I said Eric Kinzler, and this is Mike Pavone.
Yeah.
So it sounds better to.
When it goes Pavone Kinzler, it just sounds better.
That's the whole reason Jared and I didn't hyphenate our names. We could not decide whose name was going to go first.
I'm glad we decided Pavone Kinzler. Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Did you each keep your own?
Yeah.
Or
yeah. So, yeah, but you were already established, so I had to jump off, like be the second one on there. So it's
been 2 weeks.
2 weeks, and Mike was on vacation, soaking up the sun while I was working.
That's what we'll call it.
Tirelessly.
That was what.
Sun up to sundown, and Mike was just there sipping out of a coconut with an umbrella.
I did sip out of a coconut, though. That was fun.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Julia wanted to get coconut water out of a real coconut, and so there was a place selling them, and we got a coconut with a hole drilled in it and a straw. It was actually pretty good. But, vacationing is just parenting in a different location. That's pretty much all it is. There was a lot of time spent in a car driving.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I wonder if people actually realize when you go on vacation with your kid, you're like, no, when I'm at home, the kids go to school and daycare. So, like, I get a little break. But when you go with your kid, you're like more than, 18-hour parent.
I was more tired coming back from vacation than going on vacation. Yeah.
But the pictures were fun. You guys had a good time.
We did.
The kids had fun.
Yeah, get them a pool house with get them an Airbnb with a pool, and we were in it 3 times a day. We did night swimming. That was like the look at that manatee. No, we did night swimming. That was more important to them. Look at this crocodile or alligator that was sitting right here out on the water next to us. Can we go in the pool now? It's like, cool.
Sure.
Yeah, we can go do that. So we did, it was a good trip though. I'm glad to be back. I brought back some special rum.
Oh, yeah, you should try it. It's really good.
It's like maple syrup.
It's like maple syrup meets
Pillar. It's called Pillar.
Like cinnamon. There's a little bit of like a cinnamon flavor in there.
Okay.
It's not like Captain Morgan's.
Right.
It's super smooth and good though.
Surprisingly smooth, and they only make it there in Key West, according to what they told me. But it's called Pillar, is the name of the distillery. It's good. It's really good.
Cool. Yeah. Pull my arm.
Yeah. Like, oh no,
I have to try some. We're just gonna get a monogram glass for you.
Perfect.
I need my own monogrammed glass.
Yeah, it could say Pavone Kinzler. We can get him back.
It's a shame you didn't come back more tan, though.
Dude.
I don't know that mine gets tan.
Yeah, I burn. It takes a lot to get me tan because I'm very fair in complexion, so I burn more than anything. So it's like, Julia, all of us get sunscreened before we're allowed to go out and play.
50?
Yep. And she even had like special ones just for your head, your face.
Yep.
Blair got the part on her hair though got burned.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit. We sprayed it too, but
I just get dark. I go full on. My Mexican genes just come out, and I am just tan.
Yeah, not this guy. So that was a busy week for both of us in different ways.
Yeah, not during that week, but in these last couple of weeks, we've brought on 3 listings. So
nice.
That's been keeping us hopping. There's just a lot of background stuff that goes on with staging and light bulbs and photos and marketing and
We're gonna go walk.
replacing carpets.
We're gonna go walk, and this week was good, and we're gonna go walk one tomorrow.
Yeah, we got a referral from another agent. Because we service this area a little bit more. She gave it to us, so gonna get that one ready, and then week after next we have one coming on, and the week after that we have one coming on, and then you got a condo, like a more local one, which is really gonna be nice and fun. Yeah, there's stuff's just like
It's interesting. I'm looking forward to the one tomorrow because it feeds right into what we do as far as our process, our intake. So like this is our first meeting face to face, and so we're gonna go walk the property, really drill down into what our goals are, and then while we're there, we kind of have our way. We've got this really great dynamic with how we work with clients. So we'll walk that property and we kind of identify these are the things that help you get to market or maximize your dollar given your particular parameters that you're defining for us. And Eric brings that vision with the here's how we're going to really make this showcase it as much as possible. I'm excited for it. It's nice to get back to doing more of those things together. Plus, it's quantity time.
quantity time.
I love quantity time.
Mike does. Yeah, it used to be quality time. Now it's quantity. It's like, oh yeah, that one's a little low. We need to fill that one up.
You got to fill that one up. Like I was like, what are you doing tonight? You want to come over and have dinner while the kids are going skiing? So we're gonna get some quantity time tonight too.
What
Nice.
what are we gonna have for dinner?
It's a good question. I have to stop by the store and get milk. The kids drank like 2 gallons of milk in 1 week.
Your kids do drink a lot. Well, yeah, 3 of them. So.
And my youngest now is like milk. Like she's got this really like cute, ethereal, angelic voice, but when it comes to milk.
Yeah.
Slams the cup down on the table. It's like, okay,
Whoa,
we're gonna get some milk today. I don't know. I'll figure something out though. Eric's really adopted to the Mike vibe on attire a lot lately. So sweaters and jeans.
Yeah, I'm ready for polo time. I really like wearing polos. I'm ready for polo time. While he was gone, the sun, it was like the day before, it was super warm. I don't know, it was like 60. So it was much warmer than it had been.
Yeah.
And so the next day I'm like breaking out the polo.
Mm-hmm.
Cold. Couldn't even stand in the office without wearing a jacket all day. And I'm like, no, that was stupid.
Have you ever seen that I don't know if it's like a GIF or a GIF. What do we call it these days? GIFs or GIFs?
They're gifts.
I thought it was GIFs. But it's basically, it shows someone from the Pacific Northwest during that first blip of like April or March or April, and it shows them laying in their backyard on this like hill of grass, and the shade is covering up to about their knees, so they're in like snow boots and snow gear up to there, and then where they're laying in the sun, then they're like in a bathing suit and just getting as much sun as they can.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
You haven't seen that one?
Mm-hmm. But that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was one of the listings we brought on was in Seattle and Queen Anne, and I had a showing, so it had me go through Fremont, and it couldn't have. It was like 57, but the sun was out, and so every possible guy in Fremont was just shirtless. And it's like, we got to run shirtless, and I'm like, no, you don't, bud. Like it's 57 degrees.
Yeah. It's
the
still
shorts and shirtless. Like, I get it. You've been,
and like when you're in motion, still cold.
It is still cold. It's like, I get it. You did not go ham over the holidays, and you're excited to show off. That's what the whole thing was. And then I had to wait there because there's a spot in Fremont where you can't go because people are going across, and it just happened to be the sunniest day, and I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. So exactly that. I decided to drive forward, so people started going behind me, so I could go. So they were no longer running in front of me because I was
Did
blocking.
you just start moving into the intersection
and they, instead of going in front of me, they would start running or walking their dog or whatever behind my car because I was over.
I did that yesterday, but I was already at the other side of the intersection. I was like, I know that one turns green after this one. All of us are going to be able to go through, but I'm totally hanging out there. I'm looking at the pedestrians. They're like, I'm totally going to give you a face as soon as I get my pedestrian green light to walk. Didn't happen. I made it through, but you could tell they were chomping at the bit.
And I knew I wasn't going to find parking, so that was already annoying. And so it was just a don't get in front of my car.
Was this while I was gone?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know why. You missed me. That's why.
That's why I wanted to run someone over.
Yeah.
Okay. Seattle does that to me anyway, but
missed me.
sure. I did miss Mike. It's not like you come into the office and it's just like a little more quiet over there.
Well, yeah, someone's not snacking every 15 minutes eating food. I'm always eating carrots, apples, nothing quiet.
And for like 3 months after Halloween, it's candy. Is it 3 months? No, it's
If you leave it around.
4.
It's been 5. I finally got rid of it like right before I left.
Yeah.
I had about 30 pounds of the stuff.
Because you get all your kids go. Well, and then
my parents are like, we didn't get a lot of kids this year, so here's all the candy for us. I was like, great, I'll take it to the office, right to my office, not to the lunchroom or something like that. It went right into our little office.
I am super ready for another home cooked meal from your parents.
Yeah,
it's one of my favorite things. It reminds me of going home. It's cool. You go over there and it's just like, what do you want? We have everything. We have meats and cheeses already prepared. I've been making this dinner since like 8 a.m. in the morning, or making this lunch since 8 a.m.
She my mother, as a kid growing up, my mother would make 2 entrees. I didn't know why I didn't complain, but she would make 2 entrees. There's usually 2 desserts. There's meats and cheeses. And so in the beginning, Eric's like, I'd like, hey, do you want to come over for lunch when I go over and have lunch with my parents? Oh yeah, you sure? That's great. And then the other day, he's like, hey, I'm thinking it's time we go over for lunch. I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm almost to the point where it's just I'm just gonna show up on my phone and see how that works.
Yeah, get some of those like shots like cannons, like, hey, I'm with your parents.
Weird. They just invited me on my own. And she's like, no, Eric's been showing up.
Just started showing up.
And
if you do that, which is fine, I'm gonna go over to your house and sleep on the couch. Yeah. Downstairs in that room, completely like quiet, no one's there, shut the door, no one can, jump on me.
Yeah.
Can't get hit with a ball. I'm down.
That's practically your apartment.
It'd be nice.
You never said what you landed on for dinner tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm thinking Eric likes steak, and I don't want pizza unless you want pizza.
We had pizza yesterday.
Yeah, I'm not going to do pizza. And I had everything we had down in Florida was fried everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want fries. I don't want burgers. Maybe we'll do like a steak or something.
Steak is my favorite meal. I do that every single birthday.
I do like a crank the oven to 500 degrees, cast iron, sear it, baste it in butter, the whole 9 yards.
Nice.
Maybe I'll do something like that.
A little house-made chimichurri sauce, maybe?
I usually do. I like it pretty clean, actually.
I do too.
I'll do like butter. I'll maybe do some like rosemary in the butter and then spoon it over the steak.
Mm.
I usually do something like that.
You ever seen those recipes on like Instagram or anything? There's this thing called cowboy butter. There's like some other like stuff chopped up or seasoned in there. It looks delicious. I don't know exactly what it is made of though.
Yeah, no. I know in Texas Roadhouse, I went there all the time growing up. They would have cinnamon butter.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
like bring out with the bread, or the rolls.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was my genes were husky. I was a big boy. So
I'll take the fresh tortillas, cook them on the little griddle we have, and then I'll do cinnamon sugar butter on that and roll them up, and the kids like those.
Oh yeah,
those are pretty clutch.
We used to do that very similar with toast.
Mm.
But yeah, I think that's the plan tonight. Something along those lines. About me, I don't want fries though, but I wouldn't mind like a veggie and a starch of some kind.
I always
Just
do.
like
I always do
asparagus or
like
broccoli.
a sweet potato with steak.
And you like sweet potatoes?
Make like a small salad or
I
something.
don't dislike sweet potatoes, but if I was going to go to a restaurant,
What do you want?
do you want this or that? I'm not going to choose sweet potato.
What are you gonna choose?
Like baked potato, scalloped potatoes.
Okay, I know what I'm getting. I got it. So I'm gonna do some kind of a potato.
But sweet potatoes are fine, and then it's good for you. So down for that.
He's gonna be like, it's delicious. Can I get more of that steak?
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like it's valuable to be able to offer a little bit of insight into like when something arises and how do we navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you thinking of?
We have a couple of them right now where there's little fires we're either having. It's not that we're having to put them out, but every contract has something going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no. I could count on one hand probably the number of times you got a home under contract and there was like a set it and forget it basically. Not that you like walked away, but there was nothing happened.
Right.
It was textbook. Like we have one right now where the association might have some issues with the reserves, which is causing a bit of a red flag. So there's some navigation. We have one we're navigating around that. There's one where we're dealing with kind of what's called a VA amendatory clause, and there's some language in that that has been adjusted in the recent past, but having to kind of, in that particular case, we smooth it over because in that amendatory clause it says in the event that there's a low appraisal, the buyer would not be obligated to proceed, but the buyer wants to proceed regardless of what the appraisal says. Well, there's a line item in there that says, hey, that could, the buyer could walk away, but that would be in conflict with how we've kind of intended to construct the offer. So we had to have a workaround on that.
Yeah, because the buyer has the cash to make up the low appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, well, you're saying one thing here and another thing here. And in order to get the financing, you have to sign this thing from the VA. And so it's just funky that they have it that way when it's like, well, that shouldn't be required if we have the funds to make up the difference.
And it's a generic form that they send out, so it's always like that. But we deal with these things on almost every contract. It's not unique to us. It's all brokers are dealing with. It's not a fire like, oh, there's smoke, things are burning down, but there always seems to be some curveball, something out of left field that kind of says, okay, this thing has popped up. How do we deal with it? So, using this one as an example, yeah, there's a line item. There's a line in this document. Great. Let's write up another document that just reaffirms that regardless of what this line says, just as we wrote the offer, we intend to proceed regardless of what the appraisal comes in at. It's just there's nuanced things like that. Sometimes it's clerical. Sometimes it's a little more contractual, structural to the contract itself. We deal with a lot of that, surprisingly.
Yeah,
frequently.
It's so much behind the scenes, though.
Yeah,
you don't. The client doesn't really know about it until there's already a solution in place, and so we call them up and we're like, "Hey, here's what's going on. Here's the solution." But in the meantime, at first, it's sort of like, here's this little thing that started and everything was fine. And so you're like, all right, putting all the puzzle pieces together, here's the solution.
Because we'll always present, here's what's, what is defined as quote unquote a problem.
Yeah.
But we're not hiding it from the client or anything like that. But it's more like, hey, before I show up and say, we have this thing that needs to be dealt with. We've already triaged the problem. Here's our one or two or three solutions. Which one? Here's what they mean, depending on which one you choose, and which one would you like to choose.
Mm-hmm.
The whole thing was like from the moment it started till we found a solution was like 45 minutes. So it wasn't, but that's the whole. That's why we get paid to do what we do. It's to if there is something going on, then we find the solution. And
Yeah.
then you're done.
Yeah, there's kind of a notion where it's you to Eric's point, if the problem itself took 45 minutes to remedy or find the solution to, yeah, I mean, our value is not in those 45 minutes of work. If you're trying to qualify what are we worth, it's in the 18 to 20 years of experience that led up to how do we work around this so that it only took 45 minutes to actually fix the problem. So it's every contract, it seemingly has a little thing here or there, a clerical thing or anything like that that we may be called on to address. It's been a little bit of that this week.
Yeah.
That's kind of it's been forefront and center, so we've been thinking a lot about it, working through things.
That and prepping a lot of our listings. There's just like you're walking through with inspectors and roofers and stagers and cleaners and the flooring guys, and you're getting quotes for everyone and you're sending those over, and then they find mold, and so you're getting someone out there to assess the mold and putting out all of these things so that way when you present your product when we list, it's all perfectly taken care of. But that's also a lot because you're like driving all over the place and your client's like, there's mold. There's a solution. There's always a solution.
Well, and it's that speaks to a lot of the diligence that has to be applied towards your buyers and your sellers and getting them ready wherever they getting to whatever from point A to point B, and a lot of that flies under the radar. We'll do that walkthrough. We kind of identify what's important to us, or we view homes with a client. They've identified the one that they're interested in. We do a little recap after the showing the home, and they're like, "Yeah, I'm interested in that one. Fantastic. I'll call you this evening to talk through it." In the meantime, there's running your comparables or reviewing the title reports or the inspection reports, the sewer scopes, seller's disclosures, or if there's issues here, okay, so I can trace the chronology of what's happened here that the seller has disclosed. We're going to have to talk about this later. Look through the invoicing that's been provided. So from the client's perspective, I just saw you this morning. We're going to talk this afternoon. So what do you got for me? There's a lot that goes in between. So that's the fun part, though. We enjoy doing it.
Yeah. So you're prepared when you talk with your client. You're like, hey, here's the deal. Weird. They bought it 2 years ago. I was chatting with the agent. They weren't expecting to have to return to work, and they're headquartered in Seattle, and this house is further out than they're willing to commute.
Yeah.
So it's you learn about those pain points from the other agent, which are things that then you can use to your advantage if you need to.
Yeah.
Maybe I know the answer to this because people are like, will buy stuff with the intent of like flipping it. But is there in Washington like a limited amount of time that you need to like own something or live in it before reselling it? It's like you brought up that example of like, oh, they've only been here for 2 years, but
it depends what under what mechanism you're buying the home. There's disclosures you make when you're looking to buy a property where if you're obtaining financing and that financing is based under the assumption that you'd be primary occupant. Yeah, I mean, generally the expectation is you're going to occupy that property within 60 days, and then you're going to be there minimum of a year. Now, is that a hard and fast fixed rule? No. I can speak from personal experience that we had refinanced a property that we have in Issaquah, and we were there. We had refinanced it. Let's say we refinanced it in April of 1 year, and by February of the following year, so 10 months later, we had gotten married, and we were talking about what does it look like? The landscape look like for us to start a family, and a home became available. And we said, and we were coming from a 2-bedroom townhouse, and that's a 3-bedroom, 1,500 square foot Rambler. Well, we refinanced the home which is effectively, essentially the same process as going and buying something on the open market. You're creating a new loan. And we said we were going to be here for a certain amount of time. Well, we're not even at a year yet. We're 9 months, 10 months, and we're already starting the process to buy something new. And there was a question, a series of questions that was provided by the lender that said, "Hey, we see that you just refinanced this property within the past year. What's going on?" Because the concern is like, are you just gaming the system to get better rates, let's say, for primary financing? And we had to write a letter of explanation, and we were good. But no, I mean, you can buy in whatever manner you want to, assuming you have the funds to do it. It's not really a limitation, and you can, as investors, you can come in and flip a home, and it's usually on them is to do it as quickly as possible.
I mean, there's tax implications.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's a component of that for sure.
That would be part of it. But no, I've seen houses that, well, when you're looking at the history, a lot of times with flippers or investors, you see a house that's sold off market for X price and it says sold in April. And then you see it pop on June 1st for like several hundreds of thousands more. And that's a flipper.
Gotcha.
You can tell usually the quality of what's being done.
Some of them, though, they do exceptional work. Like I sold one earlier this year, and I think that was probably one of the most quality type flips I had ever seen. It was just like good carpet with good padding, with floors, with high-end appliances, and like the baseboards were all cut how they're supposed to be cut, and it was done really well.
Nice.
It's not always the case.
Yeah, I would say on the average, it's more of it expeditious for them to get it done in a timely manner and try to maximize their dollar as much as possible. So condition usually reflects that.
Yeah.
There was some land that I sold last year in Carnation that had an old mobile home on it. And so those people bought it, I think, for like $400. And it popped up on the market like right before you went on vacation, I think, for $1 million. And I was like, there's no way. And it's like, I think they did a price drop. They did another price drop right now. Yeah. Yeah. Right now they're at $799. But it was just like, they did a good job. I thought that the mobile home was a teardown. For sure it looked like a teardown.
Yeah.
But from the photos, it looks like they did a really nice job remodeling it. But it was started $1 million, and then already now you're down 200 grand.
And that's where the pricing strategy that you've talked about before comes in big time.
It's huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you always want to fight. You're fighting that temptation because you want to give the client what they want. Whether the client has explicitly stated that to you or not. You can look very quickly at how long they've owned the home, and you might say, okay, well, they're going to want as much as they can. But our big thing is making sure that we're shooting straight here with them. That our numbers are based in, I don't want to say reality, but they're based on market conditions at that moment in time, not what it was 3 years ago, not what it was a year ago, not when rates were lower or when rates were even higher than what they're currently at. Like we definitely look at this snapshot right now, and then we do our best to deliver a realistic expectation in order to move that forward.
And not what it could be either. Like you do get that question. Well, like if I wait until this time, how much should I list for? And it's, well, we can look at previous years, and typically you can get X amount around this time, but that doesn't matter. If interest rates go up or something else changes, that I do get that question when I'm interviewing sometimes. Yeah, we're looking to list in the spring. What would be your price in the spring? Well, I can't really give you a definitive answer. I can tell you if rates stay the same and inventory stays the same, this is about the price that I'm seeing. And maybe that price is 50 grand off from what it should be. But if we went to the current time and we're listing it, the market will dictate the price regardless. So you're going to get a ton of if you're underpriced, you're going to get a ton of interest and the price is going to go significantly up. If you're priced right, you're going to get right around there, probably a little bit more. If you're overpriced, the market's going to tell you that you're going to have less showings, less open house activity, and you're going to have to do a price drop. So it's all about the current market right before you list. Typically, I mean, we don't even pick a list price until
we're usually pretty close. It's funny though how often you get that. Well, what do you think it's going to be worth 10 years from now?
$100 million.
Like,
there's a reference, guys. You both let that fall.
I don't know the movie. I've never seen it.
I know the reference. I
know the reference. I just wanted to see him get riled.
I was just letting it play out.
I can't believe you're going to let me flounder.
Of course I am. That's not a lot of money. What do you say? What was he saying?
Oh, he used to say 1 million.
He used to always say 1 million. Then they're like, they start laughing at him, and he's like, "That's not a lot of money."
Yeah.
Okay, 100 billion. Is that what he said?
I think he says 1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
But I don't know what movie that is. What is that movie? Oh yeah, we could be like Dr. Evil and Mini Me.
You are definitely.
He's pretty tall.
Yeah, he is, isn't he? See, this is my therapy session right now. I love this. Every seller's house is special to them, and we get that. But we have to be that like impassioned. We have to say, okay, what is the market saying? And when, I want to sell it for $1 million. That's great, but the highest we've seen for houses that are 600 square feet larger than yours that closed yesterday are 950. I get your house is special, and we want to capitalize and make it and show it out there and showcase it. But yes, we get that quite a lot.
Yeah. If it's gonna get to $1 million, it's not because we priced it at $1 million. It's because we priced it where we're getting activity and emotions get involved.
And that excitement and enthusiasm. Mm-hmm. That's the emotions are what'll carry the price to carry the day usually. Mm-hmm. And that's something I think most people don't know is that the market is empirical. And appraisers, they look at recent comparable sales. This is what the home is worth. I can point to concrete facts. Emotions, one way or the other, are what are carrying pricing. Whether it's up more recently and down in past markets, when people are pessimistic, prices follow that pessimism, not what the market actually says. And I saw that all the time, where you'd go under contract at this price, knowing the fact that in 30 days, the home actually might be worth less. And that was hard sell. Oof. And conversely, you go under contract, like the one we did over in Redmond there, and we got it in December.
Oh, yeah.
And the price, the expectation, enthusiasm is just rocketed up. So we got it here, and now it's worth this. Well, emotion is that delta. Desire to be in an area is that delta, or the enthusiasm about the market. Yeah, that's what moves things.
Yeah, people losing out on writing offer after offer, and finally they're just like, I don't want to lose this. Let's just lose every contingency and go multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars over asking. And it's like, yep, that's our buyer. And you can always tell the buyer. That's my favorite thing about holding open houses. Like when it's a popular open house, you can just tell who your buyer is.
Yeah.
I remember in North Bend, we had that riverfront one. Year before last.
23, yeah.
As soon as I met that lady and she walked in, I remember being in the open house and it was busy. There were people everywhere. And there was one person, they were like, so like, what do you think about pricing? I was like, I think we are priced appropriately based on its location. I'm like, okay, yeah, well, we're just trying to figure it out. I was like, that's my buyer right over there.
Mm-hmm.
That lady's been here. She was here 10 minutes before the open house started. And she's been here this entire time. And I've been chatting with her the whole time. And she's talking about where she's putting her artist studio. And I'm like, well, where another good spot for that artist studio
is down on that water thing, right down by the water there.
Oh, yeah. So it's just like,
Yeah.
when people are starting to talk about where they're putting their couch and where they're doing this, they're going to go all in.
And that's what when it comes to us representing our own listings, or if we're working with the buyers, you're looking for that vision and that emotional connection.
Yeah.
100%. When you've got someone who is already placing their furniture, it's like, if we're representing the seller in that case, is like locked. We know that that's our person. And when as representing a buyer, when they walk in and like, I could see this there and this there, and it's like, that's the reaction we're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
When we walk into a house, we're like, I guess this could fit there, and the dresser that I have doesn't work over there.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this isn't the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing when you're representing the seller and you have potential buyers coming in that are being a little more quiet. You kind of you talk to them too, and you're just like, okay, so on this one, every waterfront home, there's a coffee spot you drink your coffee every morning. Come sit right here. See, you're just sitting here, you're drinking your coffee, you're looking out over so you paint the picture, and then they're like, okay, because there's a lot of reserved people, and they're like, I'm not showing my cards. I'm not showing you my cards. You're a real estate agent or something. I don't know. There's this weird thing sometimes when buyers,
people are very guarded.
Yeah. So you're breaking that down a little bit, and you're just like, relax. This is how it could be if you lived here. So
yeah,
there's a lot that I love open houses. I really, really, really enjoy open houses.
Thank you for joining us. We're here today on episode 6. I'm Fred, and this is Barney.
Oh God,
it fits you. It suits you.
Okay.
Yeah, look for us on YouTube, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Cheers.